Okay, so in the several months it has been since I last posted anything to my channel, a number of things have happened, but rather notably, I have moved into a new apartment. So I finally have my own place, and with my own place comes my own network hardware. This would have been the bedroom closet, but it has instead turned into more of a network closet, as it's become a convenient place to put my networking hardware and my makeshift servers. Not entirely ideal, being that there's not much airflow through here, but it's been working okay so far. Just figured I'd give you a little video tour of the place, because I figure a lot of my viewer base would find this interesting. Start down at the bottom with the thing that keeps all the heat in check. Get some light in here, because the lighting around this corner of the room is terrible. The place is cooled by a certain Edison box fan that made an appearance previously in the video when I first got it, where I cleaned it up. It's pulling cooler air from the room. I'm not going to say cold, but cooler anyway. Air from the room into here, and kind of keeping the heat in check a little bit. Ideally, I'd have like another one of these stacked here, exhausting the hot air, and so you can do an air exchange sort of thing. But I don't have that luxury right now. And so far this seems to be working okay, or at least the computers have not been complaining. So we'll give them some credit there. Over next to that, we have a certain APC Smart UPS 750XL. I actually don't recall right now if this has made a video appearance before, but if you've seen one, it's the only one I have, so if you've seen one of these on my channel, this is the one. It was one of those half-off specials from a certain thrift store outside of DC, so I actually paid 25 bucks for that, not 50. And much to my surprise, I will note here that that I was very surprised to find out the batteries in it, when I got it, were actually still at least marginally good. At least good enough that it will pass the test and will hold up this load for at least long enough to survive a decent blip. So, which I'm pretty sure it has done that once already in this building, as I've seen other computers in the apartment reboot, or had obviously rebooted when I got back from work one day, and these had not. So I think this is doing quite well so far. Over here on the left side of the room, we have a pair of computers known as, I kid you not, the Turd Cluster. This is a bit of a riff on the previous Polished Turd web server I had, which was an IBM PC300 sporting, I believe it was a Pentium 3 667 that I had running in my dorm room at the U of R. That started as a project to revive and improve upon an old Cobalt server, but that the Cobalt got royally screwed up in a BIOS update mishap, so the IBM ended up carrying the load. But I figured when I got in here and got ready to build another web server, that I would try to continue the tradition of polishing turds in an effort to make a web server. And I took these two machines. We've got one is an HP Pavilion 6648C. The other one is a certain HP Vectra VL6 that has appeared in a previous video. That's the one I trash picked. And I decided that it would be funny to polish these particular turds into a high availability cluster. I kid you not. I'm sure some people are going to think I'm absolutely nuts for doing that, and you probably have every right to. But I will say that the only reason, I know very well how pointless that is. And yes, I did it just to say I could. Just to say I did, and to determine if I could. Basically because I wanted a challenge. And it did actually work. They're quite temperamental, but it does work. It's running a pacemaker / CoroSync stack, doing Apache and all that, Apache and DRBD and all that fun stuff. So it's if theoretically one of these will be running the server at any given time, and if the one running the server fails, the other one will pick up the slack, which is kind of cool. How well it works remains to be seen. I know in my testing it has been interesting. It works, at least in theory, but Apache sometimes does clever things like not want to stop on one node or things like that. Back there, behind them, we've got a Gateway E4200 tower with a dead power LED. Actually, no, it's got a missing power LED. I ripped it off for something years and years ago, and I don't remember what. So it looks like it's not on, but it actually is. That is running a NAS, which is probably going to... There's probably going to be an article on my website, the one hosted by the Turd Cluster, about that project, as I had to jump through some hoops to get that to work, including getting being that that's an IDE-only system, I had to put in a PCI SATA card, and getting that to behave nicely, especially getting it to take large capacity drives, was a little bit interesting. But it has, once that was all set up, I got the thing running Open Media Vault, and it works quite nicely. It's sporting a Pentium 3 600, a Katmai system, not even a Coppermine, which is interesting. Over here, this is not actually running, but that is conveniently provided in side view, as there's no real good way to get up to the front of that, and my camera thinks that thing's a face. That's just brilliant. That is a compact ProLinea 6150E that I inherited from work. That actually served for many, many years as the voicemail system at work. So, that may be the topic of a future video, I don't know. Coming up to the top here, up on the shelf, over there is a Dell, what is that thing? I don't even remember. A Dell Vostro 220 sporting a Pentium dual core. That is actually something I'm running for my brother. He's trying to use it as a network or online gaming server of some kind. I'm not 100% sure of what he's trying to do with it, but I know the thing, I set up a Linux install on that thing for him, and I just kind of decided I would actually trust him to be smart with it, which I'm hoping isn't a mistake, because you know how bothers can be. And over here is the network hardware, last but not least. Currently what I got running is I've got a 3COM, or 3BOM if you prefer, 3C17300 SuperStack 3 switch. I believe it was a thrift store find, believe it or not, despite being a professional piece of hardware. Up here we've got some Netgear router or another. I don't actually remember its model off the top of my head. Actually, I probably could go find it. Oh, if I flip this thing down... that is an R6300, which is a very surprising thrift store find. It was not, despite being a wireless AC unit, it was not only a thrift store find, it was not a DC thrift store find either. It was actually here in Rochester that I found that, as I recall. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember where I think it was in Rochester. Oh, I might be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong on the internet. And finally, up there, we have an Aris SB6141 cable modem that is hooked up to a cable that proceeds around half the room to get to the cable jack to actually provide my internet service. So this has all been working well. I got here in Rochester, we got Spectrum Internet, formerly Time Warner Cable, and I got to hand it to Spectrum. I called them at, I believe it was 10:45 p.m. really just expecting to get a recording telling me what their hours were. And believe it or not, not only did somebody pick up the phone at that late hour, I was online by 11. That's some real good customer service right there. The modem is actually mine. I bought that from Best Buy. I, for various reasons, do not trust internet company provided hardware. And besides the fact that I wanted to be on that night. So that was the quick way to do it. Got a power strip that brings power, some random thing I probably picked up from God knows where. That's just extending the output of the UPS up to the top shelf here. And other than that, I believe that covers everything in this closet. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any actual constructive comments, please no garbage about how I'm using ancient computers, because I know full well what a modern computer is, and I just choose to be a glutton for punishment in this closet. But if you have anything constructive to say, please leave your comment down below. But in the meantime, I will catch you later.